Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a foundation face-off sort of a deal. I've been meaning to review the new IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better foundation formula, but on this side of my face, I am going to be comparing it against the original CC+. Now, these are obviously not the same type of product. My main goal here is just to let you guys see and compare the differences in the application, the texture, the finish, and the lasting power of these two, just in case you are sort of deciding between the two. Very quickly looking at some of the claims about this product. This is supposed to be a water-like texture. It gives you medium coverage, and it's a skincare infused formula that's supposed to slowly improve your skin over time. This is a very lightweight liquid formula that dries down to almost an airy matte touch. However, when it's applied on the skin, you may notice a semi-matte, sort of a soft backlit filtered glow. That's achieved by using micropearl pigments, so you may be able to see this golden shift when you hold the bottle up and stare at it. The formula contains vitamin E and vitamin B5, commonly known as panthenol. Both of these are beautiful emollients. They add a lot of hydrating power to products, and panthenol is commonly used in hair conditioners. Don't know how many of you know this, but the name Pantene is derived from panthenol. Despite the emollients, the product does not dry down creamy or greasy at all. Like I mentioned, it actually dries down to almost an airy matte texture. The other interesting ingredient in here is sulfonic acid. It's also known as HEPES, not herpes, HEPES. Now, sulfonic acid is an exfoliant. It's a very gentle exfoliant that really doesn't dry out the skin too much, but it just helps to gently, loosen dead cells off the surface of your skin. So, with continued use, you're supposed to see smoother, more glowy skin, and also hopefully less clogs, less congestion, less visible pores. My guess is if you're using very strong chemical exfoliants like glycolic acid or retinols in your daily routine, you may not see too much of an improvement using something like this. But like I always say, it doesn't hurt to have extra skincare benefits in your makeup as long as your budget allows it. I have drier skin, so I definitely appreciate the glow and the creamier texture around this side of my face. But I do have to say that the pores look very much more refined, a little bit more blurred on the side where I'm wearing the foundation formula. Also, I would say I do have some lines here, my expression lines on my forehead, and even though they are dry lines and a moisturizing formula does help to sort of plump and smooth things out a little bit, I do find that this semi-matte kind of satiny formula actually blurs the appearance of the lines on my forehead a little bit more. One other thing to take note of, which might be important when you are choosing shades, this formula does not dry down noticeably different from while it's wet. So, pretty much the color you see on your skin is going to be what you get after it dries down or sets. This, on the other hand, does dry down a shade deeper. There are solvents in here that will change the appearance of the pigments while they are still wet. So just bear that in mind. You may want to go half a tone or one tone lighter. Coverage-wise, I do find both of these neck and neck. They have about a medium coverage. They cover about the same amount of discolorations and flaws, but I do believe this one would be very much more buildable, whereas this creamier texture doesn't really layer and build on too well on top of itself. I mean, you can do it, especially if you live in a drier climate maybe and the product sets a little bit more, but if you try to layer this too much in a warm or humid place like this, or you have oily skin, it's just going to slip off when you touch your face. So that's the face done. done. I'm quite pared down today. I'm just doing a stronger flush on the cheeks, spiky lashes, nothing on the lids, and a new nude lipstick. This is the new Natasha Denona Valentine's Day collection lipstick. What is the name of this? I Need a Nude in 36NP Amorosa. So this is kind of like a pinky beige with a tiny hint of gray in it as well. So very quick first impressions comparison. Now, this is a product that I'm heavily biased toward to begin with because I've been using it for years. I've repurchased so many of them. Every one of my tubes looks like this. And this is just a perfect daily sort of product because it has a good balance of coverage, quite a high sun protection factor, even though it's a little bit weak in the UVB department. Also very hydrating and very comfortable on my skin, and this does tend to even out some of the finer, drier creasing under my eyes. This, on the other hand, is something that I feel like reaching for on the days where I need my makeup to actually stay looking good for longer hours, or I'm going to be going for, say, a client meeting. I'm sitting close to them and I want my skin to look really refined but not heavy up close. So smoothing, blurring. Smoothing, blurring. So anyway, I'm gonna head off now. It's gonna be a long day, but I will be back after a few hours, just do the final check-in and let you guys see how these have lasted. Alright guys, it is now 7:30 p.m. I have been wearing this foundation for about 8.5 hours now, so let's zoom in and have a closer look. Obviously both sides are now shiny, but I do think that the CC Plus side is a bit more shiny, especially around this area where it's maybe not so flattering to be shiny. It obviously is throwing back quite a lot of shine. There's some here as well, but I think overall my pores still look a little bit more refined on the side where I'm wearing the foundation. Not so nice on this side where I'm wearing the CC Plus. Now, under the eyes, it did look a little bit drier on the foundation side at the beginning of the day. So I was seeing a little bit more of the creases, here, and it just was not as flattering as this side, which was a little bit more hydrated, a little bit more smooth. But now, after about 8+ hours of wear, I do feel that this has worn away a little bit more patchily than the other side. Some of the coverage has faded around the inner corners, well, more than the foundation side anyway, which I'm not too surprised about because the self-setting formula of the foundation actually does cling on to concealer a little bit better. As for the rest of the face, I don't think there's any noticeable fading, even though I was wearing a face mask, and I think both have kind of rubbed off in a similar amount. Not too much on either side though. A lot of the pigments that you'll see around the top corners actually are blush pigments. As always, let's do a quick blot. So this side is where I wore the foundation and this side is where I wore the CC cream. Now the oil is a little bit more spread out on this side and it's more concentrated here. So, just looking at this, I don't see that one side of my face was significantly more oily than the other. Both sides are still pretty much intact after I blotted with the oil blotting sheet, and I'm not seeing patches when I do this with my fingers either, so they actually both performed really well. I've just turned down the light slightly so you can see the difference after I've blotted off the oil. The foundation side is pretty much still intact, maybe a tiny bit more fading around here, but on the CC Plus side, I do see a noticeable patch where there's no product left. I think, the final blot pretty much lifted off some of the product that was broken down. So if you think you might like both of these formulas, but you need something that's going to last through sweat and also long hours, then I would say the foundation might be a better bet. Final thoughts. I don't think I'm about to throw out my CC Plus anytime soon. It has worn off a little bit more, but on most days I don't really mind that, and I really like how hydrating it is and how protective it is, how much skincare is in the formula. As for the foundation, I really like how it performs as a day-to-day base where you want to look just a little bit more polished but still naturally luminous, not too dewy, not too matte. If I'm going to an important meeting, if I'm going to be on camera, then I'm much more likely to pick this one simply because it really gives you the beautifully filtered look to your skin. Value-wise, they are priced the same. You get 2 milliliters, a tiny little bit more from the CC Plus tubes than the liquid foundation, but it's not going to make a huge difference. Now, aside from the pore blurring effects, the other thing that I really like about the foundation formula is that you can build it up and layer it on if you want more coverage in select areas. So I have worn it on certain days where I just layer it on and then dab on more around the eye area, around my nostrils, just to give me a little bit more coverage. And because the formula sets, it doesn't start going cakey or sliding off where I want more coverage. The CC Plus formulas also have a more noticeable smell. It's not fragrance, it's just some essential oils, including citrus and all that. Some people don't like essential oils in their formula and they don't like fragranced or scented stuff in general. I don't really mind. The ingredients are in there for their skincare properties, but if you do, then go for the foundation because it does not contain those ingredients and it doesn't really have a scent. The one main negative that is shared by all the formulations is the shade range. Now, the CC Plus comes in, I think, around 14 shades here in Singapore. The foundation I saw listed as having 14 shades, but then I go on Sephora and I count only 12, so I'm not entirely sure, but either way, 12, 14, it's not a huge number of shades, and as always, the very deep skin tones are not really catered to here. The thing is, the foundation formula is split into different skin undertones. So you have pinks, you have neutrals, you have yellow tones, and if you lean very far into one or the other undertone, you would be able probably to find some sort of a match that fits you. Whereas with these CC creams, you pretty much need to go with the standard neutral in-between colors. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, if you have tried this formula yourself and you have a different experience, please share in the comments below and let us know what kind of a skin type you have, what kind of an environment you're living in, and maybe it will help quite a few more people with similar situations or skin types to you. Otherwise, I will just see you in the next video.